Polycab and CNBC-TV18 present Infra Safety, powering India's electrical future.
As infrastructure safety continues to evolve, collaboration, innovation, and proactive policies remain key to addressing emerging challenges. Polycab and CNBC-TV18 present Infra Safety, powering India's electrical future, brought together thought leaders to connect the dots between past learnings and future roadmaps, shaping a safer electrical infrastructure for the nation. The grand finale discussions continued with Infra Safety Unplugged, connecting the dots, cross-learnings and roadmap ahead, where experts analyzed key insights from previous dialogues and outlined strategic steps to enhance electrical safety measures.
So let's start with you, Shruti, because over the discussions that I've had with MEP consultants, with the policymakers, regulators, and developers, all folks in the ecosystem, some of the issues that have come about when they look at the key causes for electrical safety issues being dismissed is, say, faulty installation or substandard electrical equipment. So maybe we'll start with a headline statement from you on the key cause of electrical safety still lagging in India.
Electrical safety, actually, we should have it designed right, installed right, and maintained right. If these three things are met, then these people are happier when they have lesser calls.
You have bandwidth free for other more important
Yes,
issues
because
to take care of.
base of fire, actually seat of fire, either is the electrical short circuit, which happens when two different type of wires are mixed together without a circuit breaker. Or when there is, even if their seat of fire is not electrical, if the seat of fire is suppose here, but there is a conduit going, so it will take the fire along the path where it is going. So we have to be careful because electrical wires are like nerves in a human. They are
Make sure
everywhere
that
in
the
the
wire
building.
is safe. It will cause a lot of other
Yes.
headaches to be prevented.
Yes.
That's the headline
Yeah.
statement coming from Shruti. Fantastic. Puneet, your thoughts, chief causes for electrical mishaps, and what's the headline statement coming from you?
So, coming back to this important topic, actually the problem is use of substandard, the materials, which is readily available at a low cost in the market, and clients and the user are getting fascinated and they are buying such products at a cheaper price.
They see the cheap cost
Yes.
and then they just go ahead
and
with it.
they do not know the repercussions later. So what happens while we put ourselves under safety on the fire and electrical risk, because certain substandard products will lead to the problems with related to electrical shock, like a poor insulating value. There's a short circuit current which comes in, so it causes a lot of issues, and we keep on investing this money, and later we find a problem with this. One of the matter is like this. Second point is like 1 weak failure, 1 weak link can lead to a major failure in this whole system. Third point is that non-conformance to the standards. So there are codes which are already laid, like National Electric Code, which talks about electrical installation methodology for various equipments, even drawing a wire, how we should do that, how do we put the cables, what are those areas, how do we cover it. So basically it is seen through my experience over a period of time that we are forgetting, we are not referring to the codes and standards. It is basically a jugaad.
I see Mr. Rajput is taking notes, and I would love to pick his brains on what his response has been to what Shruti and Puneet have said, Mr. Rajput. And also the point that since the Central Electricity Authority, it's not just managing, it also looks at developing, pushing the envelope forward. There, a lot of talk has come in these panel discussions on the need for a trained workforce, the need for certification, which is critical for improving electrical safety. So what measures is the Central Electricity Authority taking in this regard? So first, your response to what Puneet and Shruti have said, and then your point on what is the CEA doing in terms of skill upgradation and certification.
Thing is that it is basically our mindset that we have to be safe. We purchase the vehicle which is of the best class. But when we comes to the electrical appliances, electrical wires, electrical switches, electrical fittings, we somewhere or the other we try to compromise. Maybe there are exceptions. Those who realize the importance that the electrical fires basically should not take place because of the poor quality or the inadequate size of the conductors and the plugs. So those are the major causes. What can be done is, one thing is that we review our standards,
All right.
tighten the standards. Quality control orders are also there. Quality control orders, most of the electrical items are covered under the quality control order, means they have to be strictly as per the Indian standards laid down. And we have to have a check, we have to mitigate the menace of duplicate and the fake products.
Puneet, maybe this time I'll start with you in terms of, all right, we've listed out all the issues. Now the question is, what is supposed to be done? Top 2 or 3 points that you would like to list.
Yeah, so Gautam, from my viewpoint, actually, if we talk about BIS, which was formulated less than a decade ago, unfortunately, we have only 23 products under electrical appliances.
That needs to go up substantially.
That is very, very less. There are thousands of MSME companies who are building such substandard products in the market. BIS should bring in some guidelines, do a necessary inspection of the manufacturing facility, lay down the processes, lay down the quality standards, parameters, develop lab. Labs are primarily in India, it's very expensive proposition. Since under the Make in India initiative, everybody is eyeing to go for an Indian product rather than going for an outside product. So this becomes mandated at this point of time to promote Indian product by giving them knowledge transfer, whatever is possible, creating infrastructure in form of laboratories, doing standardization of like the guidelines. The most important is there should be a digital platform or the AI chatbot which should be created by BIS or a government body, enabling such small companies or substandard products companies who are making this in abundance and convert them into a standard platform. This is a good initiative which one should take, and that is how we can see our country to go up.
That's a great idea, and especially in the context of Make in India for India, it's great that we have players like Polycab who are established, who are developed, provide a framework which is certified and compliant, and maybe serves as an inspiration for the ecosystem. Shruti, your
just
thoughts
like
on...
to add one thing, what he was talking about, Make in India. So there are a lot of manufacturers who are MNCs who are just bringing in the equipment in spare parts, assembling it here, branding it as Make in India and selling
then calling it Make in India.
Yes. So that also they have to categorize. The government has to categorize. They have to give them time. They should say that certain percentage, say suppose 70% of the equipment content should be made in India and then assembled in India.
Mr. Rajput, coming to you, in terms of enforcement of a lot of these guidelines, in terms of the audits that are required, what would you say are the policies or guidelines that are required currently to kind of amp the enforcement side of things? You know, how effectively are they being implemented and what more needs to be done?
If our safety regulations and the regulations for construction of electrical plant and lines are followed very sincerely, we don't have any problem. Analyze the data, the failures are taking place in which sector and in which pockets. जब तक हम आदमी को पहचान नहीं देंगे जिसने सही काम किया है और जिसने अच्छा और ब्रेवरी का काम किया है या गोल्ड मेडल जैसा काम किया है, ऐसे कुछ लोगों को हमें उत्साहित करना होगा और कुछ इनामात देने होंगे पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म से, एटलीस्ट सर्टिफिकेशन ही देना होगा, या आपके डिपार्टमेंट में ही किसी ने कोई अच्छा और एग्जाम्पलरी काम किया है तो उसको एक आध इंक्रीमेंट भी दिया जा सकता है। ये प्रैक्टिसेस बिल्टअप करनी पड़ेंगी। दूसरा क्या है, जो ख़राब क्वालिटी वाली सप्लाई वाली हैं, जिनका स्टैंडर्ड्स पुअर रहा है, जिन्होंने इसमें मैनिपुलेशन किया है बनाने में, उन कंपनीज को ब्लैक लिस्टिंग करने में हमें शर्माना नहीं होगा।
A big thank you to, again, our esteemed panelists for sharing so much.
Polycab and CNBC TV18 present Infra Safety, powering India's electrical future.
an engaging conversation between Nikhil Jaisinghani, Executive Director of Polycab, and Parikshit Luthra of CNBC TV18, focused on emerging technologies, best practices, and the path towards building a resilient and secure infrastructure in India.
Nikhil, first of all, I'd like to just ask you about the message that we are trying to send out from an event of this kind, CNBC TV18 and Polycab together. If you had to explain our audience in about a minute or two, what is the message that we want to send out to policymakers and the private sector about the importance of safety as we move towards increasing our push for infrastructure, for renewable energy? What should we keep in mind?
Safety, I don't think is necessarily talked about as much yet, right? We get about, I think, 60,000 or so fire incidents annually. Now, with power, the demand of power and usage going up so much more, we don't want that to increase in the same ratio, right? And therefore, it's absolutely critical. And now that so much more will get electrified, it's absolutely critical that we have an event like this where we can ensure safe usage and deployment of power.
Right. Nikhil, when we speak about growth in infrastructure, what are some of the most common hazards or accidents that you've come across year after year? You can give us a sense of how things happen sector-wise, but what are some of the most common accidents that you see?
Well, I think so. Firstly, we need to give a lot more importance to human life. The value of life shouldn't be very low. In terms of accidents, it could range from just short circuit, and someone was talking about earthing in the last panel, right? Just those shocks. You can get short circuits from the switch not being cleaned in your kitchen, right? If that itself is dirty and it's not maintained, at some point it's going to lead to some issue. And fire that happens due to short circuit, many times what happens is it's not because of the fire that it's not that the majority of the people necessarily burn or get burnt. It's mostly the smoke that comes out of it. And that's where we have opportunities to use products that can ensure at least people don't choke, and there's visibility for people to move out of spaces like that, right? And there are products like FS cable, where we make sure that critical applications like elevators and things like that keep moving in those critical times. So there are instances, like you said, like short circuit and things like that actually happen.
Right. Give us a sense of the kind of opportunity that lies ahead for companies like yours. India wants to be the manufacturing destination of the world. We will have a aspiration to play a big role in global supply chains, and we also have a renewable energy targets as well. So when it comes to infrastructure safety, what is the opportunity that you see? And if you could quantify that opportunity for us, say by 2047. The reason why 2047? Because this is the big goal that the government is working towards, making sure India becomes a high-income country by 2047, becomes a developed nation by 2047.
Look, the opportunity, I think, is across, as you mentioned, multiple segments, right? And so whether it's electric vehicles, as in the first panelist Anurag mentioned, the number of cables just go multifold. When you talk about renewables, right? Solar, you need DC cables, you need AC cables to go in there. I think, but the critical part for a lot of this is that we need to make sure that we are making things that are suited to Indian conditions and suited for India, right? So for the weather, for the humidity, and for things like that. Some of the temperatures in some places go pretty extreme, right? They can go down to minus something and then can get very hot. So, that's where the opportunity is. The opportunity again is, let's say in defense. I was discussing some time back. We've started supplying cables for submarines. We supplied cables for the INS Vikrant, right? And I think those are immense opportunities, and these are all products that are made fully in India. They're designed in India. There are even for products like EVs, right? I think the charging cables, till not too long back, they were imported. right? We've now designed them in India. They're supplied from our plants. Even there are significant opportunities because to manage power better, which I think as a country we must focus on, and we are trying to bring in smart cities and smart meters and things like that. We don't just need power to transmit. We also need power to get controlled, and we have the right data points for that. So with power and control, data sort of going into one cable, composite cables. These are very useful. These could be very useful in data center applications going forward. However, of course, as a country, as we evolve, it won't. And I hope, and we are working and striving towards getting there, is that we're not necessarily only focused on the lowest price. We also have to make sure that we are focusing on the right quality and as a country putting safety first.
Today, there is a lot of focus on smart cities, IoT, AI, machine learning. How are you using all of this into making sure that you can provide the smartest solutions, most efficient solutions, and safest solutions to your businesses, to your clients across the country, across sectors? And how do you see the infrastructure safety landscape evolve in the country over the next 10 years or so?
As we, IoTize a lot of things, we will, work with industries and keep learning and trying to figure out newer applications, again, that suit the Indian requirement, right? And I think that is absolutely critical. We do our R&D in India. We manufacture everything. We make sure that everything is available to our customers as soon as possible, in fact. So, if they need something, you don't have to necessarily keep inventory and things like that. And I think as we evolve, companies like us need to spend maybe a lot more on R&D. I think the regulators need to, like somebody else mentioned, need to ask people to be more stringent or be more stringent themselves, and push more innovation to come in.
All right, Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us, giving us your vision on how the infrastructure safety landscape is going to evolve in the country. You told us about the need to have a greater conversation on infrastructure safety, greater awareness at all levels, and more investments by both the government and the private sector. Thank you once again for being with us.
Atul Garg, Director, Delhi Fire Services, delivered a special address emphasizing the pivotal role of advanced electrical safety protocols in urban planning and emergency response.
Delhi Fire Service attend almost 30,000 calls per year. And in 30,000, approximately 60% fire calls, actual fire calls. And about 60% actual fire calls. In Delhi, about 60% fire call is contributed by the electric, some sort of electric, maybe electricity failure, equipment failure, overloading, short circuiting like this. And the loss is huge. Fire is a very, very critical. And if anything mistaken is taken, something going wrong, the results are devastating. So my solution for this is, number one, please do not install meters, electricity panels near to staircase, because that is your escape route. And regular checking of the electric system is a very, very much essential. If we have a robust electric system in Delhi or all over India, there will be no fire, we will be jobless. Then overloading, yes, there is a point already, people have talked about so many things about the overloading, short circuiting. Yes, these are the main concern about the electric fire. Now, one more thing is that we do not own fire safety. In our blood, there is no fire safety. I will like to quote an example because I have also worked in the industry. When a fire safety engineer or a safety engineer, when he goes to the industry, he checks everything, every point to maintain the electricity because it is his job. But once he go back to the home, he never checks in the building where fire safety system is working or not, because that is not their job. So we are working for a fire safety as a job, not as a mindset. Our mindset is not in fire safety. Nobody think about fire safety once he goes back. So that is the issue. We have to develop this. We have to, inculcate it. The fire safety is a job of everybody. This is a very, slogan is everywhere. Fire safety is a job to everybody. But in reality, nobody think about fire safety unless it is my responsibility. So we have to educate the people. We have to encourage the people. We have to educate school children that fire safety is everybody's job. Unless you know it, unless you are aware it, nothing can be done. This fire is a man-made fire. It can be prevented. Disaster we cannot do it. Earthquake we can't do much. But in case of fire we can do if we are doing a right thing. Fire can be avoided. At least we can minimize the fire. So I think that is from my side. That is my recipe as a man from the state. Thank you so much.
In recognition of their unwavering dedication to fire safety and emergency response, courageous firefighters were honored in a distinguished felicitation ceremony. Devender Kumar, Karanjit Singh, Nitin Lochab, Amit Kumar Rana and Sonu Dakkar were celebrated for their extraordinary bravery, resilience and steadfast commitment to safeguarding lives. True heroes who exemplify the spirit of selfless service. Rajesh Kumar Shukla, Subhash Chandar and Dharamveer Singh were honored for their unwavering dedication and invaluable contributions to public safety. As the grand finale of Polycab and CNBC-TV18 present Infra Safety, Powering India's Electrical Future concluded, attendees took a safety pledge.
With unwavering dedication, I will utilize my knowledge and awareness of electrical safety to protect myself and those around me. I will ensure that all electrical products, including wires, cables, switchgears, switches, etc., are certified, compliant, and have passed rigorous quality tests. I pledge to advocate for regular audits of electrical and firefighting systems both at work and at home to maintain the highest standards of safety.
Through collaboration, innovation, and robust safety frameworks, the nation is on course for a safer, more resilient infrastructure future.
Polycab and CNBC-TV18 present Infra Safety, Powering India's Electrical Future.